Hi and welcome to my playhouse, and today we're gonna be expanding this Lenovo x3650 Model 4 from 8 hard drive bays to 16 hard drive bays. I have gotten the last little part, which is a control cable for this server, and today I really think that this is gonna happen. So let's go directly into the server and do that. Here is the server. Let's get the cover off. And we have a lot of good stuff in here. I had a comment in a video just this last time. Someone was laughing at me connecting this connection on here to ground myself to the server, and he was like, well, the server is disconnected and powered off, so there is no ground. That's not entirely true, because the server is actually pretty well grounded through the rails to the racks, and the racks are grounded. So I'm connected to the server is connected to the racks are connected to ground, so I should not be able to build up any static electricity. Really, I would only have to ground myself to the server so that there is no difference between me and the server. But yeah, just a quick thing there. What are we going to be putting in? I have showed this in multiple videos. It has been in and out of the bag. So here we have an SAS expander built onto a backplane for hard drives. And we're going to be putting that in. We put this in instead of the first expander card over here, and we expand that to the next card, which will be this card. That will just be beside it. So from the RAID controller will be going to this expander. You can kind of see there's layers here. So this is the back plane and this is the expander, and that takes the two connections from the RAID controller and it multiplies it out to, there's like two connections over here and furthermore two connections that are here. So it's a converter from 2 connections to 4 connections. So we're going to be putting that in. I also got this power cable, which we also had a look on in another video where I thought that everything would be good. And then I just got this box, and this was supplied this week with some help from you guys in the comments. I was able to find this for a fairly good price. I think I paid 200 Danish crowns for it. That came out to about 35 euros, and that is 10% less in dollars, so that's just over $30. And this is the control cable. So more or less this goes down to the system board, goes out to the 2 backplanes, 0 and 1. I'm guessing that 0 must be the first one and 1 must be the second one. That's just my guess. And then there is this connector, which is on top of the SAS extender here. So I have no idea what that does, but it's there. So that's awesome. So we're gonna be putting that in. So here we have the RAID controller is on the system board back here underneath this graphics card. But it comes with the 2 connections. There are wires for them, and that goes into this backplane here, which is a really normal dumb backplane. There is nothing special about that. So let's move some of these fans to get a better work area. The server is off, of course. So I have the normal power cable here and the normal control cable. So we'll disconnect those. We will be exchanging those. Power cable. And this control cable, which is kind of half used. You can kind of see that there. It looks like the connections for this is more or less just using half of the connections, whereas the new cable that I got, well, it uses both the connections. So if I look at this and use a bit of common sense, well, this is going down to the first card, and probably it's the same thing with this one. So this cable There's kind of 3 cables here that goes into the same connector. So the first cable, which comes out as the shortest one, 0, will go to the first backplane, and then 1 will go to the second backplane, and this one of course to the extender. So we'll take this out. Okay, so I've removed all the cables from the backplane over here. I've become a bit smarter since the last time I was messing with this. I actually don't have to move this backplane. I have to put the extender over here. So that's how that goes. And these are the 2 normal cables. So instead we put in this power cable, which goes onto the system board. But just for the camera view, I think we will put in this this cable first, because that goes down here, and when the power cable is in place we'll not be able to see that. So there, and then this little cable has a little 0 on it. That's the first card, so we will plop that in there. So that is connected. Then we have the power cable, which goes in right beside it. These cables are in the way right now. Get away. Stay there. And this power cable goes over to this. The short one goes over here, and the longer one goes over here. There, P2. So now we have to put in the expander card. And when you look at the expander card from this side, the little connection on the backplane has to go up, and the bigger connector has to go down. So we will do that. And these cables are rather long, so I'll just get those a little bit out of the way. So it goes this way. And let's pop that into place. There. Then all these cables has to go in here. We have the control cable that goes in there. We have the power cable. I want that to go underneath that one. In there. I hope this is good. And then we have the 2 connection cables for the next backplane, and they of course go up into that backplane, and they're kind of the right length for that. I thought that these 2 cards were gonna switch around. I was wrong, because all the cables, they work for this configuration. So that was stupid there. And then we just have this hostile. These cables are way too long now, so we will have those go in and then see what we can do with the extra. Okay, this one is port 0, which is this one. And this one is port 1. It's a bit tight here. And we have a bit of leftover cable here, so let's see what we can do with that. Really should have gotten it under that one. Okay, now that I don't have anything mounted in this compartment over here, which is meant for a tape station, well, the cable just go in there and comes out again and goes in here. So that's kind of all good. So perfect. Only need this last little tiny cable here, which I'm gonna pop in here. There. I think we're good to go now. Need to remember to put in the fans. Okay, server is back in the rack. Oh, well, it has been here all the time. Right now it's complaining about the hard drive because I've just been testing this a little bit to make sure that it kind of does what I'm hoping for it to do. But we can remove these now because there's a backplane in here. I would have to put in some fillers here to get the right airflow through the server, but as we're gonna be putting in drives, I'm gonna wait a little bit. I turned on the server and I went into the BIOS of it. Here is the BIOS, and to go down and configure some disks, we go into System Settings there, and the very top one is Adapters and Wi-Fi. That's where you can go and configure some drives, and it's that one. So enter there. We can do this from a web BIOS, or we can do it from CLI client thing. So we're gonna go one on that. And now we have a mouse and we can press start. It sees the RAID controller in the server, and in this Lenovo x3650 Model 4 there's an M5110E. So we'll go configure that. And it sees the drives that I have in there. I have a virtual drive 0, which is these two drives. There are two SSDs, says it's right there. And then we have 4 hard drives down there, and they make this virtual drive 1, which is 2.725 terabytes of data. So we need to pop in something in one of the empty bays over here. And I have some 500 gigabyte SAS drives here. You can see they are 500 gigabyte SAS. Yeah, they're 6 gigabyte SAS drive, so we can pop in that in slot number 8, and it blinks, which means that there's activity there. That's cool. That drive just happens to have some bodies, so we'll pop those in as well. Another 4 or another 3 500 gigabyte drives. There. And those 4 drives, they never leave home without another 4 500 gigabyte drives here. So let's pop those in, kind of one at a time. I don't know, could probably pop all of them in at once, but don't want to stress it. I think 2.5-inch hard drives are available in 6 terabytes at the moment, so they could be a lot bigger. I should have taken one with a label. Dope. Let's see what the computer says. Taking these drives out of all kind of different stuff, so it's probably gonna be a mess. So let's see drives. There it says unconfigured. Some of them are in a foreign configuration, so we will probably have to get rid of all of that. If we start out here again and press start, it will come and tell us that we have a foreign configuration, and we can select to do different stuff with that. So we in this case I will delete that foreign configuration. I hope I'm only deleting that one. Otherwise, why do they have to make it so daring? Let's see if we can clear that. Clear. Sure. Yes. Okay, cool. It didn't delete all my drives. I don't like the way that they say that, because you don't know exactly what would happen there. So right now we have 8 drives down here, and we can do different stuff with that. So let's go configuration wizard, and we want to add a configuration. We can clear the configuration, we can make a new configuration. That means that we clear all the other configurations, and then we can add a configuration. It's very important to read this so you don't select the wrong one. So this is where we have to select manual, because otherwise we might do something really stupid. Go next. Let's see what options we get. So up here it says that I can use the shift key and the arrow down key. So if I select the first one and press the arrow down, it will select all the drives there, and then I can go and add them to an array. Add to array. So now we have 8 drives that we can do something with. So we're gonna accept this group, and we have to go next. Then we have different options. Not a lot of options. I would have hoped for some more options, but well, we'll select that one and add it. It has been added. We can go next. So now we can select RAID 5, RAID 1, RAID 0. That's about it. I will select RAID 5 for this. Yeah, it's gonna be storage. All of this is good. I'm gonna just update the size. It's gonna put it over there. I get 3.176 terabytes out of that. I'm gonna accept that. Approve this, and we're done. Save configuration. Good idea. Am I aware that everything will be deleted? I surely am. So now I have a disk group 1 or virtual media 2 SSDs, total of about 480 gigabytes. We have 5 1 terabyte hard drives in here, also in RAID 5, and we have the 8 500 gigabyte drives that comes to a total of 3.176 terabytes. Cool. So I finally got to expand my Lenovo x3650 Model 4 from 8 bays to 16 bays, and it looks pretty awesome over here, all those bays. Awesome. I did also have some 500 gigabyte SATA drives, but I would not be able to make 8 drives in one RAID 5, mixing up SAS and SATA drives. I don't think there's a RAID controller that does that anyway. So this is really awesome. This experiment turned out to be way more expensive than I had hoped for. I won the expander on an auction on eBay for about $100, and I thought, ka-ching, that's very cheap. The normal price for those are like $500, $600. I started this and I didn't get very far before I realized that I was missing the power cable for it, for splitting out to 2. And then I did that, and then I realized that I needed the control cable as well. So, well, third time is the charm or something. I would have liked this to have worked the first time, I must admit. So, but thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again. Hopefully we'll do something more interesting with these servers. So have a really nice day. Bye bye.